just for watch hours. If you've got something better to do with your life, I don't blame you for doing it. But last night I did a live stream and I tied up a bunch of rigs. And the goal of this video is to test the rigs that I made up. So if I don't say hi immediately, it's going to be because I'm actually recording a video, and you'll kind of get to hear it as it all goes down, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And between videos, I will, of course, come back and say hi and everything. And please feel free to talk amongst yourselves, and we're going to have a good time. Let's see what I'll have to test today. Get return suffix. And get my notepad over here. Tablet does it whenever you connect to the live stream. Everybody loves a good comedy of errors, right? Okay, so it looks like we're good there. Can you hear me okay? I want to make sure the volume's working okay. Hey, boss. Good to see you. Welcome in. Since nobody's going to tell me if they can hear me, I'm going to go ahead and turn my volume up a little bit on my tablet to see. Okay, so I can hear myself good. I'm located near Memphis, Tennessee, in the United States. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing in this video, sorry, I said this before everything went sideways, and I'm testing some different options on line strength test and not test. And I'm going to be recording those videos while I live stream. As odd as that sounds, we'll see if it works or not. So just kind of bear with me. So in front of me is what I affectionately call the Knotbuster 6000, which is a pull tester on one end and a linear actuator on the other. Sorry, I want to make sure my other camera is set up the right stuff here. Perfect. And I'm testing the line strength and knot strength of various knots. So I'm going to ignore chat for just a minute while I do this video. So laugh if you want. I'll be back at the end of this of the video I'm recording, which is 5-10 minutes. Hey everybody, it's Mike from Fishing the Mid-South, and today we're going to use some 50-pound Trilene Big Game Mono, and we are going to test knot strength. So last night, or previously I should say, I tested some 50-pound Big Game Mono with the dropper loop, and the low was 27.0 pounds and the high was 43.5 pounds. That was using 6 turns. And when I talk about that, that's half twists. So 6 half turns or half turns or 6 full turns. And I was definitely not happy with the results on 50-pound big game. I'm using 50-pound line. I need more than 30 pounds of strength. So we're going to test different ones. We've got some 4 turns, some 8 turns, and some 10 turns. I don't expect the 4 turns to survive, but that's what we're going to test this time. And we're going to see how well these hold up and what kind of knot strength we can get out of them. So these are dropper loops, and the way that these work is you get the swivel, and you come down to a dropper loop. So this is going to come off to the side. This tag end either goes down to another dropper loop and then a sinker or to a sinker if you want a single dropper. So what we're testing today is going to be how well this knot stands up to my knot puller. Let me find some rubber bands real quick because those are important. Because I do not want these hooks flying around the room. And Ashley's sitting over there on the couch, and I'm sure she'd appreciate that too. So without further ado, here's my first pull. Okay, so we had a pop at 28.2, and that will probably be the full strength that we get out of this because it's just going to slide through the knot, and that is so 28.2. Not to be unexpected. Just roll back and set up for pull number 2. Again, I did not expect that the 4 turn would do better than the 6 turn by any stretch. However, for completeness of tests and accuracy and all that kind of stuff, it felt like it needed to be done just so we're not leaving out any reasonable variables. And zero it out and go for pull number 2. On this one, you can see that the knot is slipping at 20.3 pounds, and it's going to keep going until the end of life. So 20.4 is what we got out of that. And that is the dropper loop knot itself sliding. Eventually, it would come down to the hook and then break, but I've got 12 inches of pulling room with the actuator, so we're going to have to call that a failure at 20.4. Rubber band off here and set up for pull number 3. Get that all hooked in here. Just so everybody can see that. Zero it out and give it a pull. Okay, so we had a pop. Looks like at the knot. Yep, 21.3, and now the knot is broken and sliding, and so this is over because that's, yeah. So 21.3. Again, I really did not expect a lot better. Again, this is 4 turn, or 4 half turns, 2 full twists on a dropper loop with 50-pound big game mono. And because a lot of people in the catfish community, or anybody who uses live or cut bait, is going to probably have this knot somewhere in their, I hate to say arsenal, but arsenal. For me, I'm going to Pensacola, and this is a lot of what they use for surf fishing, albeit not with 50-pound mono, but if I'm going to go after bigger fish like sharks and such, I may end up doing that. Take the tension out, and we're going to go with pull number 4. 27.0, I heard a pop. We'll see what popped. Nothing yet. We got up to 32.8. Now, I will admit that pausing like that can be detrimental to the test because you're giving a chance to, I guess, catch up. But I really thought I had a failure there. And wrap this through again. Get this one on the puller. easier said than done sometimes. And again, that rubber band is just there to make sure that the hook doesn't go flying across the room, which it will do if I don't. Here's your tester, and this will be test number 5. Here we go. Ooh, that's not going to be a good pull. Let's make sure the hook is attached properly. There we go. Zero it back out, no tension, and here we go. 24.5 pounds. So these are absolutely abysmal results for what they are, but it's the 4-turn loop knot. We knew that the 6 knot did not fare well, and I'm trying to find a better number of turns that will work. Going down was expected to not be beneficial, but I wanted to make sure that I had it for completeness of testing. So we have 28.2, 20.4, 21.3, 32.8, and 24.5. We'll be doing more tests. There is a list on my channel that goes over and tie various knots, and there's also a playlist with knot strength test, of which this will be one. And there are plenty of different line strengths, types of knots, types of line, etc. So please like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff that makes YouTube happy, and we'll see you on the next one. Okay, hey everybody, hey Mr. Rogers. Boss, I understand why you're leaving, because, you know, I understand this is boring to a lot of people. If you don't fish, then it's probably really boring. I'm just trying to get watch hours. I ain't gonna lie about it. For the live stream. So I figured I might as well live stream myself doing the videos. Let's see if I can tilt this down just a little bit more. At least you can see some of what I'm doing, right? So this is the pulling end of it. This is the part that'll move. Over here on this side, we have the actual tester. That's where I hook one end of the rig to. Okay, now let's back up a little bit. Thank you, Mr. Rogers. I've been geeking out on this stuff. I thought when I did it that, you know, I'd probably confirm what the results we'd seen on other people's videos, and, you know, I'd have data points. And then the reason I even started the series was because there are a lot of people that have done these types of videos, but either they did a few knots, or they did only a few pulls, or they only did it with certain line, like bass strength line, as opposed to the heavier lines. Or I didn't like their testing methodologies, or take your pick, right? But I've ended up learning so much through this process. One thing that I learned was I have some hooks that are absolute garbage. So I saved myself some headache there. And I'm also learning that the knots that we depend on may not be the best knots. So there we go. Somehow I'm back. Oh yeah, my live stream went crazy. Let me get back to all the messages so I can see if there's any good trolling going on. Thankfully there's not. So let me get all this stuff cleaned up and out of my way. We'll get ready for the next test. And for anybody curious, on the other end of the pull, I'm using either trilene knots or Palomar knots, because those are the two that have performed the best as far as line to swivel connections. The knotless Snell has actually proven to be a fine, strong knot. I did not expect that. But as easy as it is to tie, I expected to see that its strength was on par with how easy it is to tie, or the fact, that's not a knot at all. But once I found out how strong it is, then I can kind of work backwards and figure out why it's that strong. And I've been very happy with my results. That one slipped. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. See how the bottom strand is really clear? You probably can't. The top strand has a lot of crackling in it because it was pulled hard. Guts out of the reel. What are you doing to your reel, Mr. Rogers, that you're trying to, like, de-gut it? Hey, Gigabilly. Glad to see you, my friend. Thanks for joining last night. I appreciate you being here. Appreciate the watch hours of everyone. Appreciate the support. Appreciate all that. And this is kind of boring. I didn't get that. Figured I'd try to double dip on the watch hours here. No shame in my game. Plus, I thought it might actually be interesting to some people. So one of the tests we're going to do is on this 100-pound stuff with crimps. If you hear any giggling in the background, that's actually she's sitting on the couch wondering why I'm an idiot. And I think we all know why I'm an idiot. She stays with me anyway. That's all you can ask for. Hey, Scotty, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Good to see you. I am making knot pulling videos. I sure hope I turned this off. Yeah, I did. Good. I hate to think that I still have the video going. Okay. So now I got some of the junk cleaned off on my desk. So the other one of these. So what we're doing is we're doing the dropper loop in 4 twist, 8 twist, and 10 twist with the 50-pound mono because the 6 twist was horrible. Okay, so I'm going to start another video, so when I don't talk to people, that's why, and I'll re-engage after we get done with this recording. Hey everybody, it's Mike from Fishing the Mid-South. We're using Trialing Big Game Mono. We're continuing our knot series, and this is for the dropper loop test. We did the 6-turn with 50-pound mono, and it did not turn out well. So then I wanted to test other number of twists. So when I say turn, those are half twists, right? So 6 half twists is full, 5 full twists, but for some reason when they count these, they always count them in halves. So I also tried the 4-turn. It did not go, well, it went as expected, to be honest with you. And then we're doing right now the 8-turn. And so a dropper loop is simply, you get the swivel at the top of the rig, you come down to a dropper. So the way this is supposed to sit in the water is like so. So this is your top, and then this tag end is going to go down to either another dropper loop or to a swivel. I cut it off because it's not necessary here, but that is what the dropper loop looks like. I really thought my failure point was going to be with how we attached the circle hook, and so far the knot has been the failure point at everything, the dropper loop knot. So we'll get this one set in the rig puller, and we will go after this. So here we go with test number 1, 50-pound mono, the dropper loop with 8 twists in this. 8 half twists or 4 full twists. Pull number 1. Okay, so we had a failure. Where did we have the failure? Oh, that's why. We grabbed another rig that was already made. Here's our failure. So the failure was the knot. So again, this is the knot here. This is the tag end. And then here's the standing end. So the knot failed at 32.9. Set that over in the pile of broken dreams. We get set up for pull number 2. If anybody can hear that music, please let me know. And here we go with pull number 2. And 40.8. So, again, here's my tag end coming down. Here's my standing end. This broke where I was kind of expecting. It broke at the connection to the hook, probably because of where the hook then turns around and comes back in. So we'll get set up for test number 3 here. Mine just a little bit. Zero it out and pull away. Okay, so we had a break right here at the knot, part of the knot, and it's because of this just being a hinge, it's going to pull through. So we're not going to get any extra strength out of that. Nope. 32.1. And again, that failed at the dropper loop knot itself. And this will be test number 4. In case I haven't mentioned it this video, the reason for the rubber band there is so the hook doesn't go flying across the room and damage my life. Okay, test number 4. 35.3 pounds. And so this one came apart at the knot again. So this is the tag end. Here's the dropper loop knot going up to the standing end, like so. So 35.3 pounds. Let me grab the rubber band back. And pull things back into place. Poor Ashley is having a good time watching videos on the couch. Not this video, clearly.
Not reading stories.
She's reading stuff. Okay, and here we go with pull number 5. $34.5. And this one actually broke, oddly enough, at the connection to the swivel. That is a first. So normally I would say that invalidates the test, but it doesn't, because if you look at the results, we got 32.9, 40.8, 32.1, 35.3, and 34.5. So it's actually in that range. Now, if we go back and we look at the 4 turn, we went from a low of 21.3 to a high of 32.8, averaging, around 24-ish. Here we went from a low of 32.1 to a high of 40.8. Much more consistent results, probably sitting in the 35 range. So we did pick up a little bit of strength there. So that's good. That's what we were hoping for. There is a playlist on the channel showing how to tie these knots. Also a playlist on all of the knot strength tests. There are plenty more coming. Please like, subscribe, and all that stuff. I appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next video. Hey. time to have fun, or time for work. That doesn't sound like fun at all, Gig. Thanks for coming in, my friend. Ashley says, "Hey, Gig, goodbye, Gig." Mr. Rogers, putting shrink sleeve on your hooks because of that bend. I understand that, and there are some hooks that are actually sold with something there. Um, and I expected it to be a failure point. I truly did. I did not. I was hoping that the dropper loop was not going to be my failure point because, I mean, all I've got is it's just a hitch, right? You go through the front of the eye, you come through and you do this, which really negates most of the purpose of the snell hook, and that's pulling from the shank and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, at least you get a little bit of something out of that. So that's where I expected it to fail. You don't use hooks when you fish. That doesn't surprise me at all, Mark. Boy, did you have a few good trolls earlier. I mean, besides me. I was giving you all kinds of grief over how thin those fillets were. But I don't have yellow perch here, so I was probably just making fun of you for fun. Always love your live streams. You keep everybody entertained. I would caution you maybe to ask your wife to take her last name off of her username on YouTube, because I don't know. Nobody needs a stalker. And Ashley's over there giggling her butt off again. I wish I were this entertaining to Ashley.
People are sharing their Jim Fail stories. They're great.
Awesome. YouTube is super sensitive about any copyrighted music and will do nasty things to me if they hear it. I mean, this is the first time, NJ, that I actually knew what her name was. Prior to this, I always thought that she was just using somebody you made up because, you know, as far as we all know, Ashley doesn't exist either, and I just made her up. You want a funny story? I like funny stories. Ashley will probably think it's funny now. She did not at the time. So everybody knows I'm a little bit of a troll. I don't know what I said to some lady on Facebook when one of her stupid questions, and I gave her a stupid answer. I don't know exactly what I said that made her so mad. Didn't care. So Ashley is in Hobby Lobby checking out, and her phone rings.
Oh, I forgot about this story. I thought you were talking about a different story.
Oh, even a better one? Okay. And this lady calls her. Apparently decided she wanted to be a private detective. And calls her to tell her what a prick I am. And she's like, well, first off, I know what a prick he is. Second off, leave me alone. And then she calls me to tell me that some crazy lady just called her and to be nicer to some of these idiots. Yeah, Ashley said she was impressed that the lady found her. But on the other hand, I'm sitting there going, that is so uncool. Absolutely uncool. So, NJ, when I was watching your live stream earlier, it reminded me of a story. So many years ago, 20, I was at a men's retreat at a lake down in Texas. And we were all, doing our thing. Well, I caught a flathead. It was about a 5-pounder. And I had never tried flathead before. So I was like, well, this one's going to be part of the fish fry. So I go to the cleaning station where there's another gentleman that's part of the group. And I fillet one side of it. And there was a cat hanging around. I knew there was a cat hanging around. Didn't care. And I had stopped to do something. I don't know if I went to wash something or whatever. I come back. The cat has taken the one fillet and is gone. Just walking off with it. And I'm like, kind of looking at the other dude like, Really? You didn't try to stop this? So the cat definitely got a good meal out of that one. So I kind of laughed when you were cleaning fish in your kitchen and your cat was just behaving. Not used to that. Okay, so to share with you guys. So when I did going back to the 6-turn test, which is the standard, I had a low of 27 pounds to 43.5 pounds. So the 8-turn isn't really much of an improvement, if any, using remedial math that I have in my head. Which, that's terrible because, and it's in most cases, it's the dropper loop itself that's failing. And we need a better knot. And I'm frustrated because I've looked for other knots like the double or triple surgeon's loop, and they're not any stronger. And there was something called the butterfly knot that I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome, and it was not. So it could be that big game mono is not the right line to use with a dropper loop. I do have some suffix 40-pound here that I'm going to test as well. See if that changes the dynamic at all. But thus far, I am frustrated because I've been able to get at least, some variation of a knot in other scenarios where at least I got, was able to get at or above the rated line strength. Not to be confused with the actual line strength because, yeah, and I don't know that I've tested 50-pound big game for its actual breaking strength yet, but I have tested the 20 and the 40-pound suffix, and so I expect it to be at least 60 pounds worth of strength out of the line itself, and the line is not breaking at the line, it's breaking at the knot every time, so there's that. All right, so we're going to do another video. Yay! So bear with me as I ignore everybody for a minute. I keep forgetting that I'm doing the recording. Like, one of them was like, hey, does anybody hear the music? I was talking to you guys and not the actual video, which is kind of strange for me, but oh well, whatever. So, we're going to do a recording. Hey everybody, it's Mike from Fishing the Mid-South, and once again we are going to be using Tri-Line Big Game 50-pound mono, and we're going to be testing the dropper loop knot. And so far I've tested it with 6 turns, I've tested it with 4 turns, I've tested it with 8 turns, and now we are going to test it with 10 turns. So those are 10 half twists or 5 complete twists. And the problem is that the standard knot is 6 twists or 3 full twists that everybody uses, and the strength was just not there. So that's why I tried a 4, a 6, and an 8, or a 4 and an 8, and now a 10 to see if I can get improvement. So far, no bueno. But here we go. We're going to go with test number 1. See what happens there. $36.2. This is actually getting promising. Not for 50-pound mono, but still. It's better than I've had so far. Okay, so let's look at the pieces and the parts in it. Again, failed right at the dropper loop knot. The knot itself decided that it was going to take leave of its senses. We'll get the rubber band off of that one. And go through my pit of despair here. And grab another pre-tied rig. We're going to do 5 of these and see what we can come up with. Because these dropper loops are used as part of a Kentucky rig or double dropper or single dropper, whatever. A lot of this is used in the catfishing community as well as, like I said, saltwater and anywhere where you're going to use live bait pretty much, or cut bait. So let's go with test number 2. $33.4. And the gauge stopped moving slightly before it broke. I think I was probably starting to slip on the knot. I've had a couple of the knots that actually slipped. I would be surprised though with tin twist if it did that. But anyway, that's if you saw the change there. Either it was stretching or something and then finally popped. But that is what happened there. It wasn't that there's a delay in the audio. That was real time. Okay, so we'll pull back and we'll get things set up for pull number 3. Zero it out, and here we go. £40 even. Another thing I am watching on these is the hooks, because I want to make sure that my hooks are going to withstand this. Now, this did have a little bit of bend in it. Of course, it came back just as it should. So, I mean, we know the hooks are going to bend some, have a little flex in them, right? Especially if we start pulling it heavy loads. And that one actually, so there's my, let's see if I can, yeah, okay, so that one actually failed at the swivel. And these have been using mostly tri-lane knots. Surprising that it failed at the swivel. Normally, when it fails at the swivel, I'll just invalidate the test, but that one so far is still stronger than the other two before it that broke at the knot, so I'll leave that in as being fair. So here's test pull number 4. That was terrible. 24.7. Absolutely terrible. So, my swivel went one way and my hook went the other. So I'm not sure what broke where. Oh, there's my hook. So the hook is bare. And this one apparently I never. Okay. I really don't know what happened because I have 5 rigs tied. I've done 4. Oh, this was the 4th test. Okay, so this is the 5th one. Okay. I just never put a hook on the 5th one. We'll fix that right here now. So the hook was bare on that one, which means that either the knot failed at the dropper loop, or it failed right here at the where it meets the hook, which is probably the more likely of them because the strength is so much lower than what we had seen previously. Let me find another rubber band real quick. So I'm thinking that this one was probably failed right here at where the hitch knot attaches it. I wish I knew where the other end of the rig was so I could validate that. Check the bone pile over here and see if there's anything that would substantiate my thought. I don't see it. It went flying and I don't see it on the floor.
What?
Oh, actually I didn't see it on the floor. And it is exactly what I expected. It broke where the hitch knot goes around the hook. So 24.7, I expected this to always be a weak spot. I actually expected that would be the weak spot every time. So, but this is a hitch failure. Okay, and now test number 5, zero it out, no tension, and pulley. 25.8, and it did the exact same thing. See there, the hook broke at the hitch knot. Now, see if I can find that hook real quick. I'm sure I'll find stuff on it. I am curious about that because I pulled it out of the bone pile and it could have possibly been the same hook that I used from the previous knot, because remember that one did not have a hook already on it. So it's possible there's a chance, and actually probably a fairly likely chance, that he used the same hook, and that hook could be the problem. Anyway, our results we'll go over real quickly, and this was also a hitch failure. So on the 10 turns, we had 36.2, 33.4, 40.0, and then 2 abysmal ones at 24.7 and 25.8. So if we skip those out of there, we're looking at, I don't know, 36, 37 pound strength, which is still far below what I would like to have. So there's more testing to do on these dropper loops to find something that will work. Anyway, there is a playlist on my channel showing how to tie knots, and there's also a playlist on all the knot strength test videos. If you like this kind of stuff, please like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. We'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching. Give me a second, folks, and we'll try to find that hook. Yeah, I didn't. But I do wonder if that was a specific... Oh, there he is. If that was a failure caused by the hook. And there's a... Ooh, yeah, there is a good sharp spot there. Let me check another one of the same type. I mean, it also has that same sharp spot right there. And we knew they had sharp spots there, right? And that's really where I expected them all to fail, but these are the first that have failed at that low, broken at that point, at such a low pulling strength. Again, these are 50-pound test rigs, so I expect better. And up until this point, I've had really good luck with these, with trilene big game in general, right? I haven't really tested. I tested 50-pound one other time, and that was, or with one other knot, and that was using a snell, or not a snell, a crimp, and the crimps actually slipped most of the time, if not all the time. I forget. There's a video on my site to tell you all about it. The hooks that I'm using, these are actually Mustad 10-aught Demon Perfect Circle inlines in black nickel. They're good, decent hooks. Owner makes, I'm sorry, Mustad. Mustad is one of those companies that makes some really good hooks and some really meh hooks. Kind of like Eagle Claw. Eagle Claw has some really, some pretty decent hooks, and then they have some pretty hooks. I don't find that to be true with like Gamakatsu. They do premium, and they do premium only. Owner seems to be the same way. We do premium, and that's all that we do. You can find some inexpensive Mustad hooks that are, I would say, below their premium quality. But these should be fairly decent hooks. Yeah, trilene big game is a staple for me. I've got 50 pound here. I've got a 60 pound over there. I've got 40 pound. I got 20. I use a lot of trialing big game. So I don't know that. I'm not blaming the line, but I'm wondering if maybe the line is not suited for that knot. Yeah, I mean, Eagle Claw is what I grew up on, right? I mean, Eagle Claw has been the budget brand hook forever. And I always used the cheapest hooks I could find when I was a kid because, I was a kid and money was tight and, you know, all that fun stuff. The same reason everybody else did. And I didn't start even thinking of them as a middle tier or premium tier hook at all. I think Muskrat Adventures, Roger, he talked about using them, and I gave him another shot. I was like, they do actually make some decent hooks. Their laser series is their more premium hook, um, and they're actually a very decent hook because I'd always thought of Eagle Claw much the way I think of Shakespeare. Ugly Stick is the exception to Shakespeare. Um, Ugly Stick, I think, makes a good product. I think it's a good line in the Shakespeare brand. But by and large, I think that putting it under the Shakespeare label was a bad idea because Shakespeare is known for inexpensive, clunky equipment. Often not the greatest quality. And while the Ugly Stick is not the best rod out there, the best quality rod, I think it surpasses the Shakespeare name. How's that sound? Sound fair? Anyway, with 20 pound, I was testing with and I don't think I have one. Here we go. So the Owner Mutu Light circle hooks. I got bending in these before the line broke. They did, kind of snap back into position because you have two types of bends. You have the spring steel where it bends back, it bends but it comes back. Then you have the ones that just kind of straighten and look like they'll never ever catch another fish. So, and these are one-off. They're light circle hooks. I get it. It was hard to even get the 20-pound line through the eye doubled over. So it may just be that these are not rated for that size line. Be that as may, it is what it is. I hate that phrase. But, and I keep using it, which makes it worse. Anyway, there you go. I still have 5 people in here, and I got 9 thumbs up, which is honestly more than I deserve. I appreciate y'all being here. Appreciate you sticking around me. I appreciate you, supporting me and all that fun stuff. The goal of this was actually to create videos, and you're actually getting a sneak peek because these will not air for 3, 4, 5 days. So you're getting the information before anybody else. And I will give a shout out. These DJI mini mics, or mic mini. I got the kit. So it has 2 transmitters, 1 receiver. It is only USB-C. You can get the Apple interface guy for, I think I've heard $19, and there is a spot for it in here if you do buy it. There's a 3.5 millimeter cable that will actually wrap around the top. I just don't need it because I don't use 3.5 millimeter inputs on my cameras. And what I really, above all else, love about this, and I've not found in another set of microphones. Not only is it a charging case and all that kind of stuff, and USB-C, on the microphones, you do have to. You can't charge them using USB-C. There's no plug on. You have to charge them using either this case or a little charging dock for them. But you could put the muff on them, the windscreen and whatever, dead cat, in the case and close it. So I can take this with me. Everything in here, everything that I need is in here. There are 2 extra windscreens that it come with that you get because I get the black set. I get 2 blacks and 2 grays. I use the grays. And there's a little bag that comes with it. It's kind of nice and padded. But everything I need is in here. So I can pick this up. I know if I pick this up, as long as I have not let this not be charged at all, and I'm good to go. Hello, Julie. How are you, dear? Glad to see you in here. I appreciate you coming in. Turns out they'll let any idiot go live. As long as you got 50 subs. And even below 50, you can still use StreamYard. If you can afford StreamYard anymore. So I'm going to get into the next video, folks. Again, appreciate you guys watching. I am doing well, Julie. Poor Ashley is sitting over there on the couch going, I don't have the kids this weekend. I'm over here visiting you and you're playing on YouTube. Thanks, Mike.
I'm reading journal articles.
She's reading journal articles. That for school or for fun?
I don't want to answer that question now the way you phrased it.
Well, she is.
I'm researching on appropriate levels of sodium and electrolyte consumption during ultramarathon and other long endurance events.
Oh yes, so she went out today. She was going to run 20 miles and she wussed out at 14 because her calf was killing her because she thinks her electrolyte balance was off. She's a nurse, by the way, and her stomach didn't do well. She has an ultra marathon. I don't even know what that is. Is that the 50K?
Yeah.
She has a 50K. She does it 2 years that I've known her, and after the first one, she told me, "Don't ever let me do this again," and she signed up for it again. And this last time, she said, "I'm not doing this again," and then signed up again. So I don't know how to help her. That she may up that from a 50K to a 50 mile. I don't know why. No one is chasing her, but
Just people on beaten.
yeah. So anyway, that being said, I am going to start another video. So bear with me, folks, and laugh at my stupidity. I'm not trying to do this as a training exercise for, how to create videos, because that'd be dumb. I suck at these. Anyway, here we go. Hey everybody, it's Mike from Fish in the Mid-South, and we are once again testing the dropper loop. This time we're going to be using Suffolk Superior 40-pound mono. And the way these rigs work, typically most people are going to know this is a double dropper loop, but I'm only using a single dropper because that's what I'm testing is the dropper loop. So, right off the top of the swivel, this will go to your main line. You come down, you tie the dropper loop. This end is the tag line, so when it sits in the water, in theory, this is going to stick out, but whatever. And this tag end will either go down to another dropper, and then a sinker, or straight to a sinker if you want a single dropper. And then I'm just using a hitch knot around the hooks. These particular hooks are going to be the Offshore Angler 3X heavy wire circle hooks. These are inline hooks in 5/0 size. And the reason for that is because I'm trying to use a hook that I think is appropriate to the line size. I have tested this particular knot several times and have not had the results that I want, which is why I'm doing it with this line. I tried with 50-pound big game, and it did not hold up as well as I would like it to. Now, the reason I'm changing brands is because I want to see if maybe one brand of line, the way it's made, is more suited to this specific knot. Now, I love big game. Don't get me wrong. It's not a slam on big game at all. It's simply that I have not had good results with this knot with trialing big game. I kind of expect it to break here where that hitch knot is because you've got it going on the sharp edge, different hook, but so half of it is going to be on the sharp edge where the wire is bent around on the hook. And if that becomes my failure point, then I'll find a different option here, and I actually have one in mind. However, what I have not found is any kind of a dropper knot, whether it be the double or triple surgeon's knot or something called the butterfly knot, that I really had high hopes for, because this is a rig that people use a lot for live and cut bait. With that being said, we'll go ahead and start with pull number 1. So my knot started slipping at 20 pounds. I will probably roll in a puller before I run out of, yeah, it's going to be close, but yeah. So we'll have to call that one 20 because the knot didn't slip. This is a 6 twist, 6.5 twist, 3 full twist, dropper loop. And I did have this happen in other videos with 6 twists in it with like trialing big game. So it's not necessarily completely unexpected. Now at this point I really don't have a failure. I just don't have enough strength in the or enough length, I should say, in the puller to find out where it's going to break now. So that's why I have to call this one at 20 pounds. But it's not a failure, it's just a slip. And in theory, the fish is still attached, and I could still land that fish. So normally my failure point is where, the fish is gone because the line has snapped. So we can overcome this by adding more twists, but what I have right now tied up is the standard, which is a 6.5 twist. Here we are with test number 2. That wasn't much fun. 21.0. Not fun at all. That, once again, broke at the loop knot itself. The loop knot, here it's coming apart. So, frustrating. I was hoping to get at least 40 pounds pull out of this. And it's frustrating because, like I said, a lot of people use this knot. And I don't think that more twists are necessarily, it may improve the strength a little bit, but not doubling it. Because that was, again, a failure at the loop knot itself. Test number 3, 40-pound Suffolk Superior Mono. And my knot did start sliding, but then broke. And this broke actually at the hitch end of it where it connects to the hook. The dropper loop is still intact. So I do have a, an idea of how to get a better knot than the hitch knot there, but this is what's standard. This is, when I watch videos of other people doing this knot, that's what they do. And it's actually where I expected the failure point every time to be. But so far that has not been the case. With the puller pulled back, and that little rubber band on the hook is only there to try to keep it from flying across the room. Doesn't always work, but hey. So we saw that the knot again started to slip a little bit here, and now it's on my foot. There we go. So this once again failed at the hitch, so that's good. I'm glad that's a good result for me. The hitch knot I can overcome. It's the breaking of the dropper loop itself that is where I'm most concerned. So I'm pretty sure we'll be doing some more tests with probably an 8 twist knot on this. So be expecting that in an upcoming video as well. Here is test pull number 5. Test pull number 5, 40-pound Suffolk Superior Mono. And our knot is sliding. We're at 24.5 pounds. I will run out of pull room before I find out where the failure point is going to be, but we will call that 27.4. So here are our results. First pull was 20 pounds. The knot slipped. Just like this one did. It came down, we couldn't finish the test. Test number 2 actually broke at the knot, the dropper loop knot at 21 pounds. Third one was 20 pounds. The hitch knot was the failure point. 24 pounds for pull number 4. The hitch knot was the failure there. And test number 5, which is the strongest thus far, well, in this test, 27.4, and that again was the knot, the dropper loop knot itself slipped. So this definitely warrants more testing. There's a playlist on my channel of how to tie knots. There's also a playlist on my channel of knot strength tests. There are going to be a ton of knot strength tests because every time I do one of these tests, I geek out and find something else I need to test. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next video. So there we go, folks. I don't know what to think about it. I mean, I know what I think about it, but who cares what I think, right? So just for those who are watching live, so the knot started up around. Oh, looks like it started right here. I could see something ditching the line, so it slipped a long way, and that will happen with these dropper loop knots, at least in my testing thus far. I am encouraged that only one of these broke at the dropper itself. I had 2 slips and I had 2 failures at the hitch knot, and that to me is promising. I actually have an idea, and I'll share it here. I don't know if it's going to work, but so once you tie that dropper loop, in theory, right? In theory, you can cut half of it. I've seen people do it. So you can take the loop and you can cut one of the legs of it, and it still hold. So what I was thinking is, if I did a no-knot snell and then made it the dropper, then I would need to cut one of the legs so that it would actually present right. So that's one thing that I want to test once I find a knot that can hold up to the dropper, right? So far, I haven't found a good dropper, and that's frustrating. Very frustrating. So as I do these tests, I'm just finding more things I need to do. Stink bug, congratulations, my friend. How big were these monster cats? What'd you say, baby love? Oh, hey. Ashley says, hey. Hey, Jody. Yes, the inline no-knot snell is certainly on the list. And I mean, I've already found that I love the no-knot snell for its strength. And I know a lot of people do use that for their double hook rig. But everybody seems to love dropper loops. And I was hoping to find a good loop. And so far, everything I'm finding is, if you like that presentation, you know, with the vertical and then coming off the side, you're best off using a 3-way swivel. So far. I'm not done. I think we all know that. And yes, Jody, the inline no-knot snell is definitely an option for people. Grandma got the biggest ones and you had to pull them in for her. So what you're saying is Grandma caught some good fish today. Yeah, you're just the muscle on this, buddy. But congratulations on catching some good fish. And I kind of giggle about, you know, like when Jody goes out with James or anybody goes out with anybody. And it's like, you know, whose fish is whose? Let's be honest. You're in the same area. You're throwing baits that are, most of the case, the same. Which ones the fish hit is I think, chance. I mean, fishing is a game of chance anyway, right? NJ, you're sticking around for this long? I'm impressed, buddy. If you missed NJ Fishing Maniacs Live earlier, you will find out that he spends so much time in the doghouse that he has an air mattress in his living room. He says it's because of his neck. I don't know about that. But I'm even more impressed that he's got cats. I think he said he had 4 of them, and an air mattress, and the air mattress is still inflated.
Wow.
I mean, that. And he was cleaning fish in the house, and the cats just didn't care. They didn't try to help. They didn't try to taste test for him. Nothing. I'm beginning to think they're not really cats. I'm beginning to think that he has some oddly shaped dogs that know how to behave. Because cats, anybody who's ever owned cats knows that the cats let us know what they want when they want it. If we want to give them affection, they don't care unless they want it. Now, if you ever want attention from your cat, put a laptop in your lap and start actually doing something important. Because that cat will be right there saying, "Hi, what's going on? See me? I'm right here in the middle. I'm going to step on some stuff, and I'm going to nudge all over you until you give me the attention I demand." Yeah, I've had cats. Actually, I'm a cat person, believe it or not. Just talking about cats is making my allergies go nuts, though. Now, this is the test that scares the absolute bejeezers out of me. On one end, we have the no-knot Snell, which I expect to hold because so far it has been the absolute strongest knot I have tested in anything. And then at the other end, I have a 110-pound rated swivel, crimped on 100-pound line. I'm scared because there is going to be so much tension on these. And when they pop, something got to go. So I'm going to try to figure out the first thing. I'm going to grab my hook condoms. Probably not the best name to call them. And these are my little silicone beads that we all use. And that goes on the point. Because while we're testing the hooks, we do want the hooks themselves to be pointless. That was funny right there. I'll be here all week. Try the veal. And on these, I inadvertently used a 12-aught, probably River Cat's tackle hook. I try to use the same hook every time on these so that I'm not introducing variables, but I think I only have one that I used, and the rest of them are all these 10-aught owner hooks. And we saw flexing with 50-pound mono, so I'm curious to see what will happen. Ashley's over there whispering to herself. Oh. Well, there's a solution to that problem.
It involved me getting up those. Already been 14 miles today.
I mean, you've been 14 miles. What's a few more, right? Ooh, look, I found a whole bunch more of these rubber bands. I'm trying to think of how the best way to do this is going to be. If these hook on the tester was shaped better, yeah, I could just kind of put it here, but it's not going to hold it. It's going to slide right up. I could use a clamp on it, but I don't want to do that because that affects how the angle of the hook is going to be, so it's not realistic as if we were fishing with it. Guess my best option. Let me slap this on here like so. And then just kind of try to run this through. Maybe back around here. I don't know what the best way of this is, and like I said, I'm scared because I'm a sissy. Still have marks on his arm from where originally I had to switch over here behind it, so my arm is over, and when the mono would pop, it would bite me. Pardon me. Okay. So now that I've yammered on enough, give it a second. Apologize for that too. I'm gonna go ahead and do another video. And I do have Ashley over there, so she can certainly call 911 after she finishes laughing when the hook gets lodged, God knows where.
So we have 2 things running for the video.
There you go. Yeah. 100-pound crimp. Actually, I don't care. Hang on, folks. I don't care how the hook does on this. I'm not testing the hook, I'm testing the other end of this. Testing the crimp. So I can use the clamp. See, it's good to think these things through. Okay. Of course your back hurts. You've been carrying me all this time. You know what I just realized? It's 3:49. I bet Ashley is going to be getting hungry soon. She is going to want me to do something about that. Oh, you did? Okay. Well, she ate her leftovers earlier, so there's that. One of the fish cut you? That's not good, stink bug. Yeah. Bad fish. So what I'm going to do, I think you can see this at the very bottom. So I'm just going to slide the hook in to the clamp, behind the clamp. So I have to articulate the clamp any. And see if that will help keep things in line. Get another video started here, folks. Get my parts, pieces, and accoutrements available. And we're off to the races. Hey everybody, it's Mike from Fishing the Mid-South. We're going to do another knot strength test, and this time we're going to be using crimps. So the equipment we're using is going to be Offshore Angler Tightline 100-pound test monofilament. And my testing equipment goes up to about 110, 114 pounds, somewhere in there before it's going to max out. 1 millimeter high seas Grand Slam aluminum sleeves for the crimps. These are those 9 kg, please, 9 km. I don't remember. Anyway, the brand of swivels I've been testing. These are ball bearing swivels. They're rated for 110 pounds. I have broken one thus far at 70 pounds, but it had been through a number of tests, so I don't know that it's valid to say that it broke at 70 pounds because there is such a thing as metal fatigue. So, with that having been said, I'm wearing my glasses for some safety here. On one end of the rig, I have a no-knot snell, just because that's the strongest knot that I've been able to test thus far. But we're testing this end, which is the crimp. So without further ado, here comes test number 1. My hook is bending big time. 75.8. So I say my hook bent, was bending. And it's true, it was. Actually, I've got other hooks down here, same type. So these are owner 10-aught inline perfect Demon perfect circle hook. So you can see there's a little bit of difference between them, between one that hasn't been stretched and one that has, but it did come back into shape and didn't fail. So there's that. And the crimp is no longer on the line, which tells me that you probably pulled free and then slipped off the end as it got down to the swivel. That's my belief. I believe a lot of things still unproven otherwise. 75.8. Because I've had a few people that knew that I was going to be doing crimp tests had voiced a strong interest in finding out how these are going to work. Because, again, common wisdom, common whatever, internet wisdom, we've always heard that crimp is stronger than a knot. And with thick mono like this, I've looked to see, what my knot options are, because 100-pound mono is quite wiry. So I was really hoping for good things out of the crimps. And I mean, 75 pounds, it's still 3/4 of the rated line strength. But yeah, anyway, enough yammering. Test number 2. Yep, and you can see the crimp started moving, and then it popped and sounded like it landed behind me. 77.2, exact same result as last time. It popped and the crimp went flying, and the swivel is still where it was. So unless there's some magic involved, the crimp failed completely and slipped through. Now we of course can argue that I don't know how to crimp. That's somewhat fair, although I definitely did the best I could. But this is a different hook. It doesn't matter for the test. It's just an oddity in that I normally use the same criteria on both ends. I believe that to be a 12-aught River Cats tackle hook. I could be wrong, so don't hold me to that. Here we go with test number 3. And what we see is that my crimp is still there. We broke at the no-knot circle hook, or the no-knot snell, at 90.2 pounds. So I'm going to note that the snell knot is what failed there. And we'll get this thing wrapped up for test pull number 4. Now, I did not melt the end into a little mushroom or whatever they call it um, on the tag end of the crimp. It's just a cut. So that could be another variable in the crimp slipping, although I don't know how much I think that is going to make a difference when we've got 70 pounds of pressure on this thing. So here we go with test number 4. Ah! So this is another interesting result. That is, we now have a 2-piece swivel. That broke at 71.6 pounds, so the failure was the swivel. Let's get this thing set up for pull number 5. And I did all these rigs at the same time, built them all at the same time, so there shouldn't be a lot of variance in how strong the actual crimp is, but I'm no expert on crimps either. We'll zero it out and we'll go for test number 5, pull number 5, something number 5. So it did start pulling again, and the love hearing. I haven't seen what the ball bearings inside look like yet, but I certainly heard a few of them land on the other side of the room. So once again, the swivel is the failure point, and I ran out of battery? Yeah, I ran out of battery. So hopefully on the video we saw how far it pulled. That is frustrating in and of itself to not have that result. But I'm going to guess that it failed around 70 pounds. And I can't really call this a good video because I don't know what happened except that the swivel broke, which means that we really didn't get a good solid test on this. So we're going to have to do some more testing on this 100-pound crimp. On our testing, we had 75.8 and 77.2 on the first 2 pulls, and that is, in fact, where the crimp was the failure point, slipped off. Then we had a 90.2 where the snell knot broke. We had a 71.6 where the swivel broke, and a unknown again where the swivel broke. So that will do it for this video. There's a playlist on my channel of how to tie various knots, as well as a playlist on all of the knot strength tests. There will be a bunch of these knot strength tests, whether they be crimps or whether they be the Palomar knot or the tri knot or the clinch knot or the improved clinch knot or the snell knots or the thises or the thatses on different level, different poundage of line, different brands of line, and even we're going to do some with braid as well. So please be sure to check that out. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Well, that sucked. That sucky McSuck sucked. Be right back. Well, folks, I can't find my AA batteries, which is what I think this is going to take. And even worse is it's the wrong. wood screws when I built this. So I used Hardy backer screws. And they use this store bit. So. One of the downsides is I think all of these pullers is that the batteries go in on the back. And the way you get to the back is you have to take off this guy. Which means you have to take your whole rig apart just so you can get to that point. And I'm supposed to be using all 4 of these, but I'm not, because I would have to go through the back of the board to be able to mount this to the board after I had it in place. You can't see that, but I can. So, anyway, that's what I'm going to use too. And let's see. Oh, AAA! And I have AAAs with me. Yay!
We're getting a lottery ticket tonight.
We are getting lucky, lucky, lucky. We need to go to the casino.
We're gonna buy lottery tickets on the way there. We're winning everything.
I figured I already had some AAAs open, but anyway, opening new sleeves, but didn't have to, and here they are. If anybody wants to tutorial on how to put AAA batteries into something, well, I can't help you. That is beneath my pay grade. We'll get this guy put back together. Doesn't really do us any good, right, folks? Because, you know, I'm out of things to test. Just kind of happened to all coincide at the same time. But I need to come up with a testing methodology, because nobody wants you crimping 8-pound line. People who are going to use crimps are going to use heavy line. So I could just crimp a hook on the end, which is why I use swivels in the first place, because I didn't want to have more hooks flying around than I need. And that's what a half a swivel looks like. Jody says, "Hey, Ashley."
Hey, Jody.
Yeah, I asked Ashley if she wanted to go to the gathering this year, and she was kind of like, "Oh, yes." And more importantly, can I go fishing with Jody? And Mike, if you want to come, I guess you can.
I like to go fishing. It'd be fun if we could camp this time, but we don't have to do that. And I'm not running over that street that I thought looked really short, but apparently it was because it was all up and down.
Yeah. Ooh, ouch. So I can't say for sure that this is a River Cat's tackle hook. So I'm going to withdraw saying that it is or isn't. I don't know, but not good. Then again, I was putting it up against something about 3/4 of an inch long. So the way it was going to sit in there, it was going to attack this bend anyway. And that may not be a River Cat's tackle hook. So I do not want to throw shade in any wrong direction. And now that I look at this owner hook, little bit of flex in it too. Oh well. I'm a little worried about using the test pullers, the rig pullers, because I've done that before and they've held fine, but on at least one of these I've seen where at the base here is discolored because it looks like it's had some stress on it. I do have some eye bolts. I could use those. I think that invalidates the test because the level of bend in the end here, while that is not, that one's got some roughness there. It started to separate or something. While that won't impact the strength of the crimp, it will impact the strength of this, but that doesn't matter because we're testing the crimp, so I could do that. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud. Not my strong suit. I think you all figured that out by now. It's still at 8. No, it's still 3 people watching. That's more like it. But 14 thumbs up. Thank you, everybody. I am out of tests for now. I don't know what to do about that. I mean, create more tests. I didn't get any. I did a lot of testing and I didn't get any results that I found to be wonderful. And that's frustrating. So, anyway, that's what we have right now. I will probably, I'm hoping to go live again later today as I rig up some more stuff, but I have been ignoring Ashley for an hour and a half now. She deserves better. I mean, she deserves better than me, but we're not going to go there. Don't tell her. She does not need to know she can do better than me. Shh, it's a secret. Give her some of the attention that she deserves. And broke 2 swivels in that process. Then I wouldn't be surprised at the second one that I couldn't get a number on because the meter decided it had enough of me for one day. I wouldn't be surprised if it broke around that same 70, 80 pound mark. Which the reason I'm using the swivels I'm using is because they were rated at 110 pounds. And the Eagle Claw ones that I had in size 1 are rated for like 60 or so. Now, the good thing is I didn't see any bending of these rings at the end. It has welded rings, which I like. And they're ball bearing swivels. I like that too. And I could have spent more money and gotten a heavier strength swivel, but I went with what I went with. And again, these have all been used multiple times, so there is the possibility of metal fatigue playing a decent sized part in that. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate the time that you spent with me. I appreciate the watch hours immensely. I'm finally up. I don't think I've hit 2,300 yet, but I've gotten firmly above 2,200, and that has been one of my sticking points. And as I create more videos, of course, more content equals more watch hours and all that fun stuff. But thought I'd try double dipping and have some people watching while I did the other videos. So thanks for watching. I've got a lot of editing and processing, not editing, to do. If you have not checked out the app on Google Play Store called YT Creator, it's made by the YouTube folks. Works on your phone. I have not tried to do any real editing with it, but what I can import it, I can export it and shove it straight up to YouTube. It's a nice little app for a phone app. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you next time. Have a great day.